And welcome
to Goldfish
the,
Boys.
The Playroom. We're back in the Playroom, Sam.
Dude.
Okay. Welcome to episode 7 of Goldfish
Boys.
Goldfish Boys, back at it.
This episode, without Seth, as you can see, someone's missing.
I don't know. I feel like things are going a bit better. Nah, I'm just joking. Me and Sam spent 2 hours trying to get the audio to work. But hey, I mean, we're here. That's the important part. We had planned to watch another half of a movie, but we didn't because we forgot to press the letter R on audition. I think R stands for something about us, if you know what I mean.
You know what I mean.
As you can see here, we're doing the episode Once Upon a Time in America. Sergio Leone's. Is that how you say it? I'm not even sure.
Sergio Leone?
Sergio, yeah, the director.
Director?
Sergio Leone.
I think so.
Yeah, it's something like that. But, viewers, you're in for a treat because I will be hosting this episode. As you can tell, I do not know nearly as much about movies or how to pronounce directors' names as Seth.
Neither of us do.
So just bear with us. But it's going to be a little bit more of a casual episode. It's going to be a little bit different. It's kind of funny that Seth is not here because this is the longest movie that I've ever seen. Sam, is this the longest one that you've seen?
Yeah, by far.
It is 3 hours and 49 minutes, almost a 4-hour watch. No intermission, straight through. We watched it a week ago from today.
How long is Wolf of Wall Street?
Wolf of Wall Street? I think it's about 3. Is it a little bit over 3?
I think it's a little over 3.
Okay.
So it's not like compared to this.
Yeah. This is crazy. This is so like Oppenheimer's 3, Killers was like 3.5.
Dude, Oppenheimer felt like an hour. It was so good.
The pacing was great. The Brutalist, which did you see that one recently? That came out this year. I think that was 3.5 also. But this is almost 4 hours.
That's crazy.
So this is definitely the longest one that I saw. We sat through it in one watch in the other room here. We watched it last week, so we're going to talk about it today. Yeah. Let's go ahead and jump right in, Sam. Give me your overall thoughts of Once Upon a Time in America.
Yeah, so honestly, I thought it was a great movie, right? 3 hours and 40-something minutes didn't matter. Like you said, the pacing was great. The characters, I don't think I could say I disliked any single character. Everyone had a good role to play.
Yeah.
Everyone did their part right. The only thing I would complain about, right, is this was a bit of a info that Seth gave us, is that they cut out parts of the movie.
Oh, okay.
So we'll get into that later.
Yes, great cliffhanger. Sorry, continue. I just wanted to cut you off there because we will discuss that later. But sorry, continue about your thoughts.
So yeah, in general, characters, the plot was good, and the score, honestly, I enjoyed it.
Good.
Yeah.
Liked it. Who is your favorite performance in this? We'll just jump right into some off the top questions.
My favorite performance, I couldn't get that actor's name, but that one kid with all the attitude, the like smallest one.
The one that no spoilers.
No spoilers.
No spoilers right now.
But he had
something happened to him.
Yeah, something happened to him.
Yes, that little boy. He was great. You liked his performance?
He was so funny.
Yeah. So my thoughts on this movie, just right off the bat, I had no context. What context did you have for this one?
I had no context either. Honestly, I wasn't sure where it was going to take place. So, that was good for me.
Yeah.
I like going to movies with no context.
Okay.
In general.
You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, we're continuing in our mafia mob film series. We watched
De Niro and Pacino,
back and forth, leading all the way up to Heat. This was I want to say somewhere around 10th film, somewhere in around there.
Around then, because we didn't pod like the first 3 or something.
Yeah, at least. The context that I had for this was that Seth had said this was a really long movie. He said it was the same director as The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which I liked, I loved, which I was surprised that I liked because, it's a Western, and I'm not really that into Westerns. It's also long, and it's also like, there's not a lot of dialogue going on.
I feel like you like Westerns.
You think so?
Yeah.
How come?
I don't know.
My aura?
Your aura? Yeah. You could fit that cowboy,
Do you like the Westerns?
Yeah.
You like them? So that was the context I had. I also know that Tarantino did it was either his 8th or 9th film called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is a play on words of this.
That's also why I got confused with this movie, because I was like, I've heard about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Right, but not this.
And have you seen that one?
No.
Okay. So this is Sergio Leone's 3rd installment in the Once Upon a Time series about films in America. This was his last film before he died. He died 5 years after this. And this was his first feature film in 13 years. So he made this, and then he kicked the can. I think it was 1980 did it come out? 1980-ish?
Yeah,
somewhere around there. Actually, the little synopsis... never mind. It was never mind.
But yeah, around 1980s when it came out. That's kind of sad that it was his last film.
His last film, yeah.
Seth was telling us that it was not like received well, right?
It was not.
Yeah.
It was. I actually did some research into it. It's that in America they released a 2-hour something minute version, and people hated it. They said it was the worst film of 1984. I think is when this came out. They said it was the worst film in 1984, and then one dude said, this is the worst movie of the year, and then he saw the full cut, and he said, this is the best movie of the year. I think
that makes sense, though.
I think what this says is, like, the editing in a movie matters so much. It's such an underrated, like, part of a movie that we don't think about, is the editing.
Yeah, or could take away so much.
Yeah. So the original cut was, I think, 8 hours.
8 hours,
something.
And they cut it down to 3 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah. Well, at first, the editors cut it down to, the studio cut it down to 2 something.
You're right.
Without Sergio's permission. He didn't know about it. Then they brought it back up to, three, whatever.
Yeah.
So the reception around the world was so different depending on what version they saw, which I think is interesting. But yeah, so my context, that's what I knew about it. I didn't know anything else. This, honestly, I just ranked my list of ones that we've seen with the Goldfish Boys. This is number 3.
This is number 3?
This overpasses everything except Godfather 1 and 2.
Really?
Yeah.
I would say it's a great film, but it would not.
No, not for you.
No.
So I was looking up. I actually did like some research for this episode because I felt pressure because Seth wasn't
He studied.
here. I studied up. The only time you'll catch me studying. I'm just a plumber, man.
I was just gonna go into it like.
Yeah, just raw dog it. So I did some research and wait, what did you just say before? What were we talking about just right before?
That's a great question. So, see, viewers, another thing about this, I have ADHD. I don't know what Elijah's got, but
I got a lot of things. I got a stutter. Oh yeah, this is probably the first time someone with a stutter has hosted a podcast. It's pretty funny though. Yeah, we talked about the reception. This was I know what I was gonna say. The quote I saw was that some people were debating if this or The Godfather is the best mafia or mob film of all time.
In my opinion,
you don't think it's close?
I don't think it's close.
No,
it's a great film, but The Godfather tops it.
So
what do you think?
I actually think that the length helped me get into it.
Really? Okay.
The the grandiosity of this film made it go like way up in my books. I think that. And it might just be because I haven't seen The Godfather in a while. So that could be something that we have to think about. But I felt like I really got to get into it because it was so long. It was such an arch. I think since it showed over the lifetime, I think that really helped me. I know the collection of Godfather 1 and 2 does that too. But this in one movie does it. The director wanted to make it into 2 parts.
Yes, 2 because it was so long.
It was so long. And the studio said no because in that I think it was 84. Right before that, a famous director had done 2 parts and it flopped. And so in the box office, it flopped. It's funny because this also flopped in the box office.
Yeah.
Because of the cut. So what did you think about the length? Was it too long?
I was about to say, it's really interesting that the length made you enjoy it more.
Yeah.
Right? Because for me, it wasn't like made it terrible, but it made it less enjoyable for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I felt like there were some parts, right, that maybe it's just because it wasn't elaborated and so much was cut off, right? But I felt like that didn't need to be there, right? Because there was no spoilers, right? But there was a lot of like politics, right? And like stuff they were getting involved in.
There was.
Right? That didn't exactly get explained, but I'm sure it would have gotten explained
Sure.
in the longer cut, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly saying the length of the film was the issue.
Yeah.
I think it's just the amount they showed.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you remember any scenes in specific that you were like, oh, I could tell that scene, there was probably more there. You know what I mean? That they cut back.
Yeah, I feel like there was a few of those. I can't exactly recall, but there was like the scenes with Joe Pesci.
Dude,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
You don't really know Joe Pesci though.
I don't.
Right?
I know him a bit, but not
yeah.
very much. Not like you know Joe.
Not-
you and Joe are buds, eh?
We're tight.
Yeah, you guys are tight.
So this was your first Joe Pesci film. No, second. Raging Bull was your first one, right?
Okay. Yes.
And you saw his acting like Raging Bull, right? It was great, but of course it was De Niro who like stole the show. And then in this film, he barely had a role. He had like a few dialogues, and then he was out. So again, I feel like we missed out on a lot of there, like the mob ties there, the mob ties with politics, right? So I feel like that's what got cut out.
Yeah. I agree with you. I'm honestly impressed that they were able to make what they were out of it after it being cut down from 8 hours to 2 hours.
And it was still cohesive. Like I understood
so
what was going on.
Now, I would have liked to be part of the crowd that saw it when they first released it, and they literally had no idea what was going on. Like I looked at some of the comments, they were like, "It doesn't make sense." So like, I wonder what they took out. You know what I mean?
They probably took out a lot.
Yeah.
Like to make it 2 hours. Yeah, I wouldn't understand the movie.
Okay, so you think performances were great, score was great. What are your other general thoughts before we dive deeper and we spoil it for the viewers?
There was a lot of slow burn scenes.
Okay.
So that I did enjoy. I do like when they take their time.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't know how you feel about that, right? Because I know you like the fact that was a longer movie. There's a gnat.
I do. Oh, there's a gnat.
Anyways, I like when they take their time and actually develop the characters.
Yeah.
Even if it's like silence or like them kind of just walking around.
Sure.
Right? 'Cause there was a lot of that in the beginning.
There was.
So that's probably one other thing I'd say about this one.
Yeah. I do remember that whenever we turned it on at first, it was one of those movies where I knew it was going to be good because there was barely any dialogue for the first. And then I can't remember like thinking throughout the movie. I don't remember if there was like still barely any dialogue. But I remember at the beginning, we were like hit by the fact that we were like 10 minutes in and there's like 3 words said.
Yeah.
Like it was not very much dialogue.
We were like, whoa.
Yeah. So, yeah, I thought that was cool. Let's. I think we're good. Let's dive deeper if you're okay with that. Let's hop right into
spoilers,
the categories.
Categories.
Okay, rewatchable scene. Most rewatchable scene. What are you thinking, Sam?
Rewatchable scene?
Yes, sir.
I know exactly what scene I would watch.
Okay.
And it's
Enlighten
when
me.
it's when they're first meeting Max and Noodles.
Okay.
Right? And it's almost like a amazing back and forth. Their chemistry is insane.
Yeah.
Right? And then it goes from then arguing with each other, right? About like messing up their con.
Yeah.
Right? To them conning the cop who shows up.
Ooh,
and it was
so good.
That was a great like switch up.
That was a really good scene.
Yeah, I'd watch
Do you
that.
mean when they coerced the cop because he was doing bad things?
Right before that, actually. It's when the cop shows up before that and he takes
At the robbery?
No,
The watch.
the watch.
Yeah.
And then he does show up later, and then they blackmail him. But
Yes.
I was talking about the first one where they are first arguing with each other,
Yeah.
and then they kind of team up.
Okay. I got you. That was great. And any other that come to the top of your head?
That comes to mind.
I'll tell you what it was for me.
Yeah, go ahead.
There were a lot of really good scenes. I honestly enjoyed anything like at the senator's house. I thought the whole garbage truck scene at the end. I think there's a lot of stuff that we can like dive in and talk about on that. So I thought like all the mysterious stuff at the end was good. With the garbage truck scene, what do you think that meant? So for context for viewers that don't remember, he's outside of the senator's mansion, who is revealed to be his old friend, right, Max, right? Who has taken his lover, his
job, his lover, his life, basically.
So he never actually died, right? And so we see him out of sight of the senator's house, and Noodles is walking away, and there's a garbage truck that comes. I don't know about you. I thought like there's gonna be some crazy dude in the garbage truck, and he was gonna like kill him.
Really?
I'm not gonna lie.
Like a hit.
Yeah, but we see Max. I'm gonna call him Max. We see the senator out there, right?
Yeah, we know who
And
we're talking about.
the garbage truck passes by, and he's gone.
Yes.
What do you think that was?
Okay. When I was watching it, I didn't exactly know, but my first thought was, did he just jump in the trash can?
There you go.
Right?
I thought so.
And I'm like, there's no way he'd do that.
Yeah.
But I feel like even Noodles thought that for a second, because he looks in the trash can as it's passing by.
He's tripping.
Or not in the trash can, the trash truck.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
he looks in it and he's like, no way he'd like jumped in there.
It's weird.
Right? But I honestly think he might have just like walked back inside.
Walk back inside.
Right?
Like perfect time as the garbage truck passed by, he walks back inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think so too. I just think like that scene was like kind of like weird. So I read into an interpretation of it. And kind of the broader context of the interpretation is that you know how the whole movie is he's in a opium the Chinese people, right?
Yes.
Like the movie opens, it's like a bunch of Chinese people at the beginning and the end. We
I'll
meet
talk
him
about that later.
in the middle, right? Because he goes to the opium like lounge thing, whatever, all those Asians
People
in
smoking.
there. Yeah. He goes there after basically his friends die, or he thinks his friends die. That's where we meet him, right? But we see him at the beginning and the end of the movie in the opium.
Yes.
People think that this whole movie is a dream.
Opium trip?
An opium trip. There you go. Now, I have no experience with opium trips. I don't know about you, Sam.
No, personally. Not opium, not kidding.
Well, at least not that we can talk about on the pod, right? Not in the Playroom. We're not talking about opium trips.
Not
in
in front of the
Playroom.
sponsors.
No, not at all. Joshua will not be happy about that. The local might kick me out.
That's a really cool interpretation. I didn't think about that.
No?
Right? Because I didn't even like think about the smoking.
Yeah.
Like how it would affect them.
Sure.
Right? But yeah, that's a cool interpretation. That's all just an opium trip.
I think it's an interesting one. I definitely didn't think about it, and I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I thought the Chinese people in the opium lounge was like random.
Okay.
I didn't think it made sense.
Yeah, that's one thing that you were talking about. I should have mentioned that when you said stuff that doesn't make sense that got cut out. That he just shows up there.
He just
goes. And,
he's just there.
And they help him out too.
Sure.
Right? Because there's that one scene where he's going on the run.
Yeah.
Right? And they're looking for him.
Yeah.
Right? And when they know where he's at, the like workers at the Chinese, or I'm not sure, lounge.
Something Asian.
Yeah. They're helping him out. They're like, go, back door. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, how does he know these people? And I'm like, surely that'll get explained later in the movie.
Yeah, and even it never does, right?
Nope.
But do you agree with me? I mean, I don't remember if the movie actually clarifies, but he's there after his friends die.
Yes.
Well, because doesn't he see the 3 bodies, and then they help him in there?
I don't know exactly like what the timeline was, but he does see his friends die, and then he goes to drown his sorrows over there. Yeah.
Now, going back to the 3 friends dying, whenever we see the bodies and we see the face that's completely burned.
Yeah, Max.
In your head, are you thinking, oh, that's weird? Are you thinking, okay, I see what possibly could be happening, or are you just like, those are 3 burned bodies?
When I first saw it, I was like, oh, he just died. I didn't think at any chance that that's not him.
Sure.
Right? So it really did a good job surveying on that. Right?
Same for me.
Or maybe I just missed it, but still, like it worked.
Yeah, maybe we're just dumb, but it worked for me. So with the whole opium thing, I think it's interesting because, we see him there at the end. So people think this whole thing, opium is apparently what it does, which again, not speaking from experience because I do not know, but it makes you reflect on your past and see the future. It's apparently what they say about opium.
That's
so
interesting.
People say that this movie is an opium trip and that he sees the past and the future. It never happened. So
it was a dream.
Maybe
almost.
the first half did happen, but the future didn't.
Oh,
happen.
you think his friend's dying part did happen, and that's him like not coping, but still on the
exactly.
Trip. That's pretty cool.
Because we meet him in the opium lounge in the middle, right? So like, what if all of the stuff at the beginning, the first half with all the child actors and all this stuff, ends, right? What if all that happened, and then the second half is him projecting, coping, trying to make reason of what happened.
What
right?
happened?
Yeah,
I really do like that. It would also explain a few things, right? Like just how crazy it gets, right?
Crazy.
But again, that could just be like their actual life.
It
for
could
all
be.
we know.
It could be.
Also, do we ever like get established that it is opium?
I don't know, but I imagine since it's so like talked about online, I feel like
and I feel like there might be some cultural background that we're not getting here, right? Like there was a specific like areas like that.
Yeah. Do you know if the Asians are into opium?
I know there's an opium epidemic somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere in there. Okay, so let's dig into a different. I know we're still on the most rewatchable scenes. So let's dig into a few different things. So, what do you think about the girl that basically tells Noodles, "Hey, report your friends to the cops," so that it doesn't get worse, if that makes sense.
That girl was Max's lover.
Yes. And remind me of her name. Do you remember?
I don't remember.
These names, man. These mafia movie names.
Is it like
they're
Vicky?
so generic.
Vicky?
I want to say it's like Rebecca or something.
I don't know, man.
Who knows? So what do you think about that?
Honestly, I don't get why she really like cared,
Uh-huh.
right? Because he wasn't a good, husband
Yeah.
or anything. Sure, maybe she's attached to it, but still,
Sure.
it just felt kind of out of place.
Yeah.
It did like advance the plot,
Yeah.
so I'm glad it happened.
Sure.
I just don't see like why she was all with it and even like try to help.
Yeah.
Even not even just try to help. She was gonna force it to happen because she
Yeah.
was like, "I'm gonna do it if you don't do it."
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I just thought it was like I thought it was like an extremely. I mean, like you're saying, I know these men are like brash. These men don't listen to their
Wives,
women, not
yeah.
like us, right? You know,
Of course.
we respect.
Love you to
women
death,
around
sweetie.
here. Nice one. Sam's also single for all the ladies out there. So if you're looking for a man who respects women and doesn't call or doesn't
Ever.
do anything,
I don't
Sam's
do
right here.
opium. Okay.
No opium in Sam's house. I think it's like a super dramatic response. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, why not just like suggest it to the dude, like maybe you shouldn't do the bank heist.
Yeah, but I assume I know how that would happen because if you saw like the previous scene,
Uh-huh.
he's like, "I don't care about her," like
Yeah.
yelling. Like, okay, I found that scene funny,
Yeah.
right? Because he just switched up like that.
Sure.
So, but still, that was a really like rash and like
Yeah,
what do you call it? Explosive reaction. To
I
that,
think
yeah.
so. The girl's name is Carol.
Carol. Okay.
And that's the girl who, you remember the hit that the mafia people send them on, and when they tell Noodles to be gentle.
Yes,
with her,
it
that's
was a
Carol.
whole like job that they
Yeah.
were sent on, and then that's how they find that girl. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I thought, I thought that scene was interesting. I think all of the stuff with the kids is gold.
Dude.
Like that sounds weird, but
No, but I agree with you.
yeah,
That whole first part,
Yeah.
it was like, what I guess charming, right?
yeah,
Because
was great.
Their dynamics, the
Yeah.
way they behaved, just made me laugh, had me into it the whole time. Like their attitudes towards the
Yeah.
adults was hilarious. They were acting like big mafiosos
Mhm.
and adults, right? And it was
Yeah.
just so funny.
Yeah.
So that's
Also, the casting was incredible. I think the people really looked like
for
him.
the young actors. Yeah,
Mhm.
they did.
Absolutely. One thing that I saw online was that the director Sergio Leone. I'm still going to pronounce his name like that, even if it's wrong.
I'm just assuming you're right.
Sergio. He didn't want to do child stars.
Oh, like not well known.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. Though.
So he wanted children who grew up in New York and who had the Jewish experience, because these
Really?
guys are Jewish, right? He wanted the people who had those experiences to do the acting, and he didn't even give them acting credits.
What?
The payment or the reward, it was just experience.
Okay, well that's
So,
kind of
like,
messed up.
I
But
think so too.
that's messed up, but that's a pretty cool like way he did it, and it probably did help their acting.
Sure,
Like,
I'm sure
yeah.
it helped them, but I think it's kind of messed up because, like, what if what if I'm a plumber? I am a plumber, right? And someone like calls me to their house and they're like, "Hey, can you fix that kitchen?" I'm like, "That'll be $100."
And they're like, no.
Yeah,
experience,
it's
buddy.
just experience. You're gonna learn how to do it. I would appreciate that, but I think that's kind of
Yeah.
weird. So yeah, so that was interesting. Any other rewatchable scenes off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head,
Not really.
nothing
Let's
I
go
can
ahead
point
and-
out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and right now actually, let's go for our mid break, right?
Yeah.
Because we're gonna hit that.
Hear from the sponsors.
Let's hear from the sponsors. Yeah.
All right. What's up, guys? We're going to take a quick break from the episode with me and Sam. Wanted to take a chance to talk about one of our sponsors for the Goldfish Boys, and we actually have him in the house today. This is Uncle John from JPR Sim Stuff. Say hi, Uncle John.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, tell us a
JPR
little.
Sim Stuff.
Oh yeah, tell us a little bit about what you do on your channel.
Well, we do a little of this and a little of that on this channel, and it's all about racing. It's in the sim, so yeah, it's iRacing at its finest, but it doesn't go well. So that's what you want to check out and see. Do it for Dale.
Do it for Dale. This man makes great content. We encourage you to go follow him at
JPR Sim Stuff.
All right, thanks, guys. We're going to head back to the episode. We'll see you later.
All right, we're back.
We're back.
Thank you for that message.
Yeah, okay, so let's dig into our next award here. Let's do Frank Serpico Best Fit of the Movie.
Best Fit of the
Hit me,
Movie.
Sam. What are you thinking?
Okay, it wouldn't be one specific person.
Yeah.
Right. But it's one scene.
Okay.
Where they all are dripped out.
Yeah.
They like just made a big heist. They're still kids.
Yeah.
Right. But they come out in these suits and coats and hats.
they're banging.
And they're just walking around the street. That's probably the best fit of the whole movie for me.
That's a great one. They're like us at prom, right? In high school, we were just cranking
Exactly.
it. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like this movie compared to the other movies that we've been seeing, like there isn't as much like dripped out,
No, it's like very actually like
real to the time, right?
Yeah.
It's a very. I know the other movies are timepieces too, right? But like those are more flashy than this to me.
and nothing here's supposed to stick out exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this feels a lot more grounded. Let's go ahead and move on to our next one. Was there anything that you saw that like wouldn't hold up today?
That wouldn't hold up
Yeah.
today. As in like it wouldn't be accepted.
Yeah, let's say that. Like, I guess essentially what I'm asking is, does this movie hold up today? Let's stay away from like the content in terms of like, would that be okay today? And let's say like,
Or just the whole movie.
does this movie hold up? The whole movie.
Okay, then yeah, I think it would. Honestly,
Yeah.
this movie would do great. Like if it was filmed today, it would be a little harder,
Yeah,
in my opinion,
absolutely.
right? But yeah, I think it could be done.
Yeah, I think so too. I didn't see anything. So I have to say, I think the whole like sexual assault and rape scenes were like very graphic.
They were very graphic. Yeah.
One thing that I saw research is the original cut, the 8-hour cut, had a lot more and a lot worse. So I just like, I can't imagine what that would be. But that was,
Maybe I don't want to watch that.
yeah. I feel like we don't see. I mean, maybe it's just not the stuff I watch.
In any like recent movies,
Yeah,
you don't see that as much.
as much.
But I feel like there are some movies that actually do like reach into that like
Definitely,
touchy subject.
but just not like graphic. And these scenes were really long too.
They were pretty graphic.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do agree with you. Some maybe that part
Sure.
wouldn't like, but everything else, like
Yeah.
the whole, politics, like getting involved
Yeah.
with crime, like yeah, I feel like that could happen. The whole dynamic between two friends in crime that could happen today.
yeah, I think so too. Let's go ahead and move to the time travel category. Who would be casted in this movie if it was made today?
I'm really looking forward to this because I've been thinking about this since I watched the movie.
Yeah.
Max.
Okay.
Him specifically.
Yeah.
I know exactly who I'd replace him with.
Okay.
Because so I don't know his name.
Yeah.
But he plays Dennis Reynolds in
Okay.
It's Always Sunny.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. So some
And-
TV for us.
Yes, some
Okay.
TV show. They look very similar in my opinion.
Okay.
Right? And not only that, the way they play like their characters
Yeah.
is very identical. Because he's
Okay.
very charismatic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Max, right?
Yeah.
And then he switches up to like a psycho.
Psychopath.
Right?
Yeah.
And It's Always Sunny, that's
Yeah.
also that. Like,
Okay.
he's, supposed to be charismatic,
That's
right?
a great one.
And he's pretty much a psychopath.
Yeah.
Right? So that, like, right there. I'll show you a
I think
picture of
that's
him
great.
right after.
Great
the
take.
pod,
Yeah,
but
I'm gonna have to see that. Do you watch a lot of It's Always Sunny?
I watched, like, the first few seasons, but I haven't been watching it as of late. So, yeah.
I heard that that's the longest running
Sitcom.
of all time.
I think it is, yeah.
Do you know how many seasons? I think it's 20,
like
right?
20? I thought I had, like, 8.
Oh no, it's way more than
Way more?
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. It's literally so. The only reason I know is because I watch a show called Welcome to Wrexham, which is this show about Ryan Reynolds and what's his name? What's the little short guy? Not Danny DeVito.
Dave Chappelle.
No, no. He's I can't remember his name, but he's the other he's just another white guy on the show. He's been in it for a while, and I think he's done all the seasons actually. They buy a football team. By football I mean football team,
Football.
a soccer team, and they are always talking about him on there.
Really?
I can't remember his name.
I have not heard of the sitcom. I'll have
Yeah.
to look it up later.
Well, it's just a movie. It's or a show. It's not a sitcom.
Okay.
It's
It's
a
just a show?
documentary.
Oh,
Yeah, of them buying a football team. But I've heard that one's good, so I'll have to check that out. Okay, who would be casted today?
I'd say that's who I'd cast for Max.
Yeah.
What about De Niro? Who would you
For De
cast for
Niro,
that?
it's a great one. I think you really need a heavy hitter. Like this De Niro performance is spectacular. I kept on in the kid scene, like any one of those well acted kids. I saw Timothy Chalamet in
Timothy Chalamet?
yeah. I know he's skinny and stuff but when the whole teenager scenes and stuff, I think he could play a lot of those, especially in his younger roles,
Okay.
in Lady Bird and stuff like that. I mean, now he's getting like an old boy, you know what I mean? But before that, I think he could have been in one of these. I'm trying to think in terms of the women in this movie.
Ooh, let's see. Let's focus on one of the main ones.
Yeah.
De Niro's or Noodle's love interest.
Deborah?
Deborah.
Yeah,
There you go.
Deborah.
Who do you think could play
Oh
her?
man, let's see. I don't know, man. I think a lot of like powerhouse women could play. Is it bad that I see like Scarlett Johansson?
Scarlett.
I see her playing Deborah.
I wouldn't say that's a bad choice because
Yeah.
I feel like Scarlett Johansson is really good at playing that, like having attitude, being very dominant as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like because Deborah, she was like that a lot in
Yeah.
the most of her scenes.
Sure.
Right. She was very argumentative
Yeah.
with Noodles. Right. So
Mhm.
I could see her in that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's a great pull. Which character was your favorite?
Fat Mo.
Fat Mo. Oh, Fat Mo, bro. We forgot to talk about Fat Mo.
Fat Mo, one of my favorite characters.
Dude,
Yeah.
he was funny. The whole also when he was younger, when you could just like tell it was Fat Mo.
You knew.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
That was great.
I love his smile too.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you noticed it throughout the movie. He just has like a really big grin
Really
throughout
big
the whole
grin.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fat Mo was great, and like what a G, bro. Like okay, who's the Fat Mo to like our friends? Like who's that guy that we can always like count on, and he's like kind of in the group, but he's like kind of out of the group. I just feel like all friend groups have that.
I couldn't specify someone because to be honest, I see us all just like together.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I wouldn't say
I
anyone's
see what you mean.
excluded.
Yeah.
Right. But I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't think I could pick one person. Who do you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I see it as like a Richard type in the fact that he's just always like having us. Like he's like we can go there anytime. He's like a part of us, but he's always like hosting us. If,
That's really
if
good
that
pick.
makes sense.
Yeah.
He's our Fat Mo, and only because of the
hosting part.
the hosting part,
not any like
anything else.
physical properties. Okay. I don't know what you guys were thinking.
Bad minds. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. William Dafoe Award for Who Stole the Movie. Who do you think stole the movie by their good performance?
Again, that little kid with the smallest one with the attitude.
Yeah.
I think he had one of the best performances.
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
From like especially that first part.
Yeah.
But if you were talking about like all the adults, right, and where we are after that,
Yeah.
I would definitely say Max.
Yeah.
He was probably like my second favorite character.
Okay,
Just 'cause,
Max, yeah.
Just because he was charismatic, and then he has like a whole switch up to where he's almost psychotic.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah, that's great. I am going to pick the second half of your character, and pick Max's old or when he's an adult.
Oh, when he's younger.
Yeah. Or
Or when he's adult. Or when
Yeah.
he's young.
Well, because you said when he's
I kind of like
Both.
Both.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But because like, and when he's an adult, he's like gets a little crazy.
Sure.
Right. So.
Mine's specifically the adult.
Only.
I thought you were going more towards the child. Or
Well, I like
the
both of them.
teenager.
Like I'm kind of combining both of them
Yeah.
at the same time.
Sure.
But yeah, go ahead.
I specifically like when he's the senator. I think he's a really good actor. It's something Christian Wood or like something like that. Let me see. Real quick.
So like, you said adult him.
Yes.
Do you also mainly just mean when he is a senator?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like old James Woods. James Woods is his name. I think he's like an incredible actor. I think he plays like the ominous, creepy like thing good. I saw him in it's like one of those movies where somebody saves the president from like the White House. It's either like White House Down or like something like Day One. I think he plays the like an evil security guard in that.
Yeah.
And I think he's a really good actor. It's called what is it? White House? Yeah, White House Down. It's like a 2000 like crappy action movie, but those are the movies that I
have
like.
not seen it, but he was in that.
Yeah, he plays like the evil dude who's essentially in the secret security team, and he's or secret service, and he's the one like leading the bad things against the president.
So you see him like as an ominous presence.
I do.
Yeah, and actually, you're right because in that ending scene,
Yeah.
when he just pulled out the gun.
Yeah.
Right. I wasn't sure if he was gonna.
Yeah. Can we talk about like? Okay, so let's talk about the whole ending with him putting the money in a suitcase, right?
Okay.
And then he's like, "This is your last job," right? Because Noodles goes to the locker. He opens the briefcase and it
It's
has
there.
the money, right?
Right, but initially,
Yeah.
when he first opened it, it was
not.
gone. Yeah.
So that's like such a weird like turn of events.
I did not expect that from him
No.
at all.
No.
Right? Because, okay, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
He was like, I stole your wife, I stole your job, I
Yeah.
stole all this,
Yeah.
right? And he's like, so here's $1 million.
Yeah.
And you could kill me.
Please kill me, please.
I'm like, where did that come from?
So, and remember, like, why is he asking to be killed again?
he wants it as kind of like not payback, but like a eye for an eye kind of deal.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's his friend.
Yeah.
And to me, that motivation didn't seem all that like correlating with his character.
Yeah.
Because if we look like in the middle of the movie, even in the beginning, he's all about like rising up and like getting more and more and more.
Yes.
Right? So I thought he would have like,
Great point.
just wanted to be in that position no matter what.
And what has remind me, what has Max done to wrong Noodles?
Noodles, he faked his death, and he also took the million.
He took the million in the suitcase.
In the suitcase, yeah. So that's what he did to wrong him, and he also, yes, he did take his girl, but not really his girl.
Yeah.
So
how do you think didn't Max pay like the cops off to fake his death? Like, how did that work?
He did like pay someone off.
Yeah.
He did go into hiding.
Yeah.
Right, because he was like, it's either he went into witness protection, right?
Yeah.
Or he just actually like stole an identity.
Yeah.
Right? Because he faked his death, right? But also, remember when what was her name? Carol?
Yes.
Was like, go to the police.
Yes.
They'll protect you.
That's right.
Right? And they'll like get you out.
Yeah.
Right? I think he took that deal instead of Noodles.
Right.
So he got a new life. That's what happened in my opinion.
That's some crazy stuff. I just feel like if it were me and I did all that, I still wouldn't want to be killed. Like the actions are so extreme, and I get it's kind of that mafia culture, like death.
Eye for an eye.
Yeah, eye for an eye.
Blood for blood.
Like, the thing that I'm picking up from all of these mafia movies, these mobster movies, is that like death is something they play with. Like,
it's not like something they take too seriously.
Life means something different to them than it does to us. Of course, we're watching movies, and of course, it's dramatized because it's like a movie, right? But I believe, like, the people that I've talked to that are affiliated with mafia and mobsters, and
a lot of mobsters.
I know a lot of them, and then even people in like, let's say, like gangs, like some of the people that I work with, like the people that are involved in like organized crime stuff, like death is not a rarity to them, and death is like life is not as important.
That's crazy. That's a crazy thought, like how it could just come and go to them.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting with the whole ending thing. I think James Woods is the guy who definitely stole the movie from me.
Stole the movie for you. He's a great actor. Yeah, I agree.
Killer actor.
You said an ominous presence. I don't know why. He kind of reminds me of Slugsworth. You ever watch Willy Wonka, the original one?
Oh, no, I have not.
You got to watch it. He's an old ominous man.
Ominous man. Okay. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to interrupt our discussion on this movie and move into the Talladega Nights quote of the movie from Talladega Nights. Viewers, again, if you have not seen this, you need to. Our quote for today is, "You've got to find your sinner, your heart, and then you take it and you punch it in the face." That's just good quote right there. And moving into this movie's quote, did you have anything that stood out to you? I'm not gonna lie, I didn't.
For this movie?
Yeah.
Something that stood out. Not specifically.
Yeah.
Right? Right now I'm just thinking of Talladega Nights.
Yeah. There you go. You just get lost in the sauce.
Yeah, lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
Nothing specific.
Yeah.
The dialogue was great, but not a quote.
Nothing. Okay. Let's go ahead and move into our Inside Scoop, brought to you by IMDb.
Okay.
Seth has prepared some Inside Scoop things for us. So the first one, from 1980 to 1982, Sergio Leone divided his time between interviewing more than 3,000 actors and actresses for over 110 speaking roles. Of those, 500 auditions were videotaped, scouting locations, and supervising script revision. So basically, he spent a lot of time doing this movie, which makes sense. And all of that was before filming, right? Like, all of that was preparation.
Before they started, yeah.
2 years of just prep for the movie.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty insane, right?
Speaking of, like, scouting and prep, what do you think about the, like, shots?
The shots.
They were
the
like
cinematography?
Yeah, the cinematography. Yeah. They were beautiful, in my opinion.
Beautiful.
I'm not sure when this took place, but there's this shot, and I'm not sure what the bridge is. I think it's the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yes.
Right?
The Brooklyn Bridge, yes.
Right? And it's from under it and to the side.
Yes.
And it just looks really beautiful.
It's gas.
Yeah.
And it's actually on the cover, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, at least one
I
of the
never looked at
covers
the cover.
Dude, that shot is gas. I remember when it came on, we were like, "Oh yeah, this is the shot of the movie."
Yeah.
Have you been to New York? No, right?
No.
Okay. I went to New York and I walked on that bridge.
How was it?
So big, dude. It's like 2 miles long too. You got to walk all the way there and all the way back.
Bro, I can't walk 2 miles.
It's
I can barely
crazy.
walk like 10 feet.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We do need to talk about now that speaking of like the auditions and the casting, right?
Mhm.
Can we talk about the scene where was it this movie that has the bad actors?
Bad actors.
Yeah. The corny stuff. I think this was the movie that again this was a week ago for the viewers, so
Yeah.
we're a little bit rusty. on it.
Usually we pod right after the movie.
Yeah,
So
we just walk right into it all hot, right? But there were a few scenes that I thought were like corny, and I think it was the ones with the children actors, so I'm not going to be mad about that. But I can't necessarily remember what they are.
I mean, yes, I would agree with you, but at the same time, those kind of I want to say get blocked out.
Yeah.
But I accept it because one, it's older movies,
Sure.
right? So corny scenes
Yeah.
are just kind of gonna
They're
show
gonna be
up in
there.
there.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And also they were kid actors.
Sure.
So yes, I would say this movie did have a lot of corny scenes compared to like Raging Bull,
Yeah.
The Godfather,
For
all
sure.
those.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Okay, let's move on to our next inside scoop. When filming was completed, the footage ran a total of 8 to 10 hours. Director Sergio Leone, editor Nino Bargali trimmed the footage to around 6 hours with the plan of releasing the film as 2 3-hour movies, just like we talked about. The producers refused this idea, and Leone had to further cut the film down to 3 hours and 49 minutes.
I would have said no.
Yeah, dude, for real. Like, what do you think about that? I think we can probably both agree that like studio
Interference
with the art is not a good thing, right?
at all because they want money. They want the big bucks.
Yeah.
You know, they don't
They
care about the art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if this happens a lot today.
I would say it happens sometimes, but I feel like a lot of directors understand
Sure.
that studio works like that.
Yeah.
So they try to work around it.
Yeah.
So
Interesting. I was listening to a podcast about this actor from Poor Things, the movie. Have you heard of Poor Things or seen
I have
Poor
not.
Things? Okay. It was Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo. They did a lot of it, and he was an actor from that. I can't remember his name right now, but he was making a TV show, and he was talking about how the studios like want you to throw in like something controversial. Like specifically, he was talking about like sexual assault or like hate crimes.
they want like something to get talked about.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like they want some like. So I think
I didn't know that.
as we're talking about studios like getting involved in the art and cutting back run times and all that stuff, that's a conversation too of like studios inserting what they want and kind of pushing for what their agenda is. I think we can both agree that that's a bad thing.
That's a
right?
bad thing.
Yeah.
And honestly, that does add another point to if it could be made today. Actually, I'm starting to disagree now. Not just because like
Really?
the like what happens in the movie, but the way it was made. I
Yeah.
feel like that'd be very hard to like do today.
I
Like
think
the whole
so.
8 hours and
Yeah.
I don't
Like,
think
no one's
studios would
watching
agree
this.
with that.
Yeah.
No, I'd watch it, but
yeah, yeah,
but I
for
don't think
sure.
studios would like that
Studios
and say
would.
like that's gonna make money.
Sure.
And they even said that back then, right?
Yeah.
But still, like now I feel like they're even more strict.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And on to our last inside scoop. A few days before the film's premiere in 1984, Treat Williams found out the 2-hour version, not the 3-hour and 49-minute version, would be shown in theaters. He was heard to have said that no one would understand the movie in the shortened version.
He wasn't wrong.
Indeed, the film did not do well in theaters, and it was shut out of the Oscars, received no nominations. When the video cassette and DVD versions were released in the original 3-hour and 49-minute version, the film ultimately found commercial and critical success.
Okay, that makes sense though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Imagine how infuriating that must be for
For
Sergio.
the director.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be pissed.
Also, like, he was definitely dead by the time the DVD and the cassette.
think so?
things- Well, definitely the DVD.
Oh.
He died. Like I said, he died 5 years after this
after.
movie.
Yeah.
1990. Where I don't know where DVDs around. I don't know. I wasn't born.
I don't know.
Whoa.
All you old heads out
Yeah,
there.
we'll have to ask an older person. Yeah, imagine how infuriating that would be. That would tick me off.
Yeah, I'd burn the studio down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said if a movie came out today that was like absurdly long, would you watch it?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. And remind me what you said the longest movie that you've watched was?
Probably like Wolf of Wall Street, Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna kind of move into our closing area. Do you have any other thoughts about this movie in general?
About this movie in general?
Yeah.
One thing I just want to talk about first.
Yeah.
Why was his name Noodles? Do you have any like?
Dude, great question. Never addressed.
Never addressed. As far as I could tell,
Yeah.
it was never addressed.
It's just a banger nickname.
It is. Yeah. Call me Noodles.
Yeah, call you Noodles. I feel like that's something we should. Okay, hot take. Okay, not to get into the hot take corner here.
Whoa,
That's something that we
off.
should do more of. Give people nicknames that make no sense. I'm pro that.
That just don't correlate. Yeah. I'm down for that.
At work, people have been calling me Big Red. I am not big. Well, I mean, like weight wise, kind of. But like, I'm a small man.
No.
What?
The red part makes sense.
Yeah. The red part may make sense, but the big doesn't.
Well, yeah, no, that part doesn't
small
make
red,
sense,
bro.
Little Red.
Little Red. Now, in middle school, I was called Big Red because actually I was big in middle school for my age, and then I stopped growing. I haven't grown since 8th grade. Like nothing. None of me has grown.
They called you Big Red in middle school
Because I was big for my size. And then now I'm small for my size. Because like we're probably about the same size. Right?
I think so.
Yeah, like all our friends are around our size. So,
That's true. We're very all similar. Then you have like a few like outliers like Wade.
Yeah, he's huge. Yeah, so I think that we should just give people like random nicknames.
Okay.
Like
Wade Shorty.
Wade Shorty. There you go. Noodles. Great
Noodles.
take there. Do you have any theories why they would call him Noodles?
Because he spent so much time in that Chinese place. I don't know, bro. Like that's the most I could correlate.
Yeah. That's pretty good. He spent a long time with the Chinese, so they call him Noodles. That's pretty good.
And I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
When the movie started, and they're like feeding him like soup or some liquid, right? And they're going noodles, right? I'm like, oh, they're feeding him noodles?
Yeah.
No, that's his name.
Yeah, that's crazy. I do remember at the end of that, the opium den scene, he does end it with a smile. So.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he starts and ends in there, and it's kind of full circle, I guess is what they call that. My final thoughts. I love this movie. I want to watch it again. It's not accessible. I want to watch it like again to see what I missed. The non-chronological fact of it was interesting. I read that in some of the wait, was it? Would you call it chronological? Ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it jumps back and forth between the present / future, old De Niro.
Yeah.
Right. And then it is chronological from the point of starting from the kids going to adulthood.
Sure.
And that point, it is chronological.
Gotcha.
But otherwise, not.
Not really, right? Yeah.
It is still easy to follow,
Sure.
I would say.
I think so. Yeah. I read that some of the cuts, you know how we're talking about how they had all these different cuts of different amount of times, right? Some of them, they took them and they put them in like the editors, they put it in chronological order, and they had readjusted things. Some of them put it out of chronological, some put it in. I think that was interesting, but I would like to watch it again, see what I missed. I love how epic it is. I love how grand it is.
It is very grand.
I love the storytelling. I think it's really good. This pleasantly surprised me when Seth said 4 hours. I thought it was going to be drag. It was great. I'm very, very happy that we watched it. So next up, we have two more after this. We have two more like
big ones.
Yeah, big ones, but they're not. Of course, they're not like underground films, but they aren't necessarily like exciting films. They're ones that we actually debated on not potting about because they're not known.
Really?
Yeah.
Which ones?
Yeah, the two that are after this, real quick. Let me pull up Letterboxd.
Because I thought we had Goodfellas next.
I don't think so.
Huh.
I could be wrong, but I do not think so. Let me see. Do you have anything
Tad
to add to it? Yeah.
Honestly, just that I think I really enjoyed this movie just because the friend group dynamic reminded me of
that's
like
good.
Just me and my friends hanging out,
Yeah.
like our group, palling around.
Heck yeah.
Of course, we weren't running those scams, but like
Or
still.
were we? Oh no.
Oh no.
Okay,
we can't talk about that.
Oh,
but
dude, you're right. I'm so wrong. It's Goodfellas.
It is Goodfellas. Yeah. So
Goodfellas, and then Cape Fear, and then Carlito's Way.
Okay.
After that, we got Casino, Heat, and The Irishman.
Casino.
So we're actually kind of winding down.
Yeah, we're getting to the
This has been a really fun experiment. So the shot of the movie, that bridge right there on the poster, banger shot, beautiful. So there's Once Upon a Time in America. Sam, and any other closing thoughts?
I would say if you haven't watched it, definitely watch it. Don't make the length draw you away from it.
For sure.
Give it a shot.
Yeah. What do you have going on in your life right now other than Goldfish Boys related that you want to talk about? Anything exciting?
Anything exciting? Writing a short film, right?
Fun.
So, yeah, that's always fun.
That's
Honestly,
cool.
I've gone like back and forth, and then I separated it into 2 different ones, right? So it's definitely gonna take like another little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What about you?
Not too much. I have a lot of trips coming up in the summer. Most exciting thing for me is my birthday is coming up.
Oh yeah.
Next weekend we're going skydiving.
Yeah.
Paintballing.
Might see a bit of that.
Oh yeah, some footage on that post on the Goldfish Boys. I did rent out the theater. Confirmed. It's not like a. When I tried to go rent out the theaters, I hit up all of them around San Antonio. None of them would show the movie that I want to see. I want to do Borat.
What?
Because I think it's going to be my top, it's going to be my second or third favorite movie of all time.
That's
I
crazy
love
that
Talladega Nights. Yeah, I know, right? The reason why is because it's a Fox title.
Okay.
Yeah. So they don't like all the theaters here, they don't like Fox or Disney, so they wouldn't show it. So I had to rent out a private room. I don't even know where it is, but it's a movie lounge, and they have couches, like lounge couches that are like white, and they have like disco balls in there.
Okay.
But it's gonna be interesting, and I decided that we're gonna watch both Borats,
1 and 2,
the first and the
That's
second.
great.
The good thing is that they're really short. They're like 120, which is really
And they're
short.
hilarious, too.
They're hilarious. And then after that, we're hitting up chachas because that's just how you gotta celebrate your 21st birthday. So
Do you want to do a little Borat podcast? Maybe?
dude, that would be fun. A birthday Borat party.
It'd be hilarious.
Yeah, a podcast about it. I like that.
Podcast, and then we could maybe show a little footage of the big theater.
I like that. What did you do for your 21st?
I can't remember, bro. I'm 21 and I can't remember.
Yeah, that was in November, right?
No, in September.
September. There you go.
Yeah.
Close. Okay. Well, cool. Sam, thank you for bearing with me here without Seth as I host.
Yeah,
it was a fun time.
It was great.
Yeah.
I love the switch up, and honestly, I feel like this podcast works with
I think so.
Either of us, me, Seth, Elijah, and Seth. Me and Elijah. Yeah.
Any combination works. We can't wait to get more guests. We have a lot of ideas about stuff that we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Check out some. We're gonna release some different style of episodes. We have one that should be out already. That's different than this, of our most anticipated film. And there should be more stuff like that to come. So
yeah, look forward to it.
Sam, thanks for joining us in the Playroom. Goldfish Boys signing off. Goldfish
Boys.
See you later.